Softr have just unlocked their full potential with integrating Zapier and Make.com with their databases. This means that client onboarding, client portals, and your notifications can run entirely through that platform without having to go everywhere else. And with the massive benefit that Softr has with row-level security, you're going to be able to sync other platforms to it, give clients access, and have no worries about the security of them finding other people's data, risking your whole business, it crumbling to the ground. In this video, I'm going to be building a client onboarding structure where I'm going to use Make.com with the Softr databases to basically onboard that new client, keep the team updated, and also welcome this person into what we are producing. If you've never used Softr before, it's basically a no-code platform that allows you to turn your data into things like client portals, internal tools, and so much more. More than 14 different data sources that you can already connect with. And Softr have also recently launched their own backend with the Softr databases, which is what I'm going to be talking about in this video. I'm actually collaborating with Softr on this video itself because they were a company that I've recommended to clients to use prior to us even talking. So if you're wanting to try this yourself, I've got a full free month on the professional plan. If you just use Ellis at checkout, you'll be able to get started and you can follow along in building this for your clients. Softr Database's new integration with Make and Zapier, this has actually made it so much better, especially with how powerful Softr already was with the ability of using row-level security. Now it being able to talk with other platforms, meaning that you could use the databases inside of Softr itself to work externally for what you're trying to do. In this video, what we're going to run through is basically creating a database record update for when your clients have then signed from your CRM, and then it's going to send them onboarding information, send it to Slack, add a client's page into your Notion itself, and that's going to get us started on being able to build the client portal that we are then going to send to that client inside of Softr. If we come into Make itself and we start a new scenario, you'll see Softr now is verified with Make.com, and these are some of the things that you can do. So you've got the database record added, the database record updated, you've got the create users, database records, deleting certain things, even making API calls, and you can also find database records, which is always great for those things when you're looking for something in particular. With this in itself, we've got a client portal database here, and this is kind of acting as our CRM. You see you've got Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, the guy I met on the train once. We've got a good few people in here. Now we can see at what stages they are at. Some are at discovery call, some are at contract sent, all of that sort of stuff. What we want to do is essentially once we change this contract sent to signed, we then want to trigger the automation to send information to our Slack team related to this client. We then also want to have an email that is sent to the client, welcoming them to the team and the program with what they've joined. We then also want to create a page in Notion for the client itself, because that client data is then going to be used for the portal that we've created for our clients inside of Softr. The amazing thing with the database integration is that if you actually wanted to keep your client database inside of here, you could do that too. For any of you who may have not used Softr before or wanted to see a little bit more of the database structure, kind of what's going on, it sort of works like most other platforms that you're going to find. So if you add the field in here, you can have your short text, your files, your currency, your checkboxes, your formulas, your roll-ups, your relations, your lookup function. So there's a really good way of building these databases together to have everything in that one place, especially if you're using Softr to create those databases. So in this example, obviously we've got some of the names of the potential clients that are going forward and some of the stages that they're at. So we're now going to go into the Make scenario and actually start this process of what we're going to look to do to make this happen. So first and foremost, we're going to watch for a trigger to sort of be updated. If you're not connected to Softr, simply all you need to do is you come into your Softr Studio, you select the API key, and then from here you would generate your API key and copy it directly into here, and this is going to connect it for you. But I've already connected the one itself, so this gives me the ability to do that. And here I'm going to select the client portal that we've created, as this is the one that is in this space, and the table that we're going to use is just the users, because inside of the databases you can also create multiple sets of tables. This is where we're doing like relations, so you'll see here the assignees of Batman and Superman and stuff are related to these particular tasks that are going on. So this is where we can use those databases to elevate sort of what we're doing further. If we then come back out to Softr itself, we're going to look from starting from now on for the database updated records, and again we're going to select Softr, but this time what we're going to do is we're going to find a database record, because what we're wanting to do is inside of that database for the client portal is we're wanting to find when a user has basically become a client. So in the CRM, when the user have actually done that. So we're going to select the stage, and then for that stage we're going to have it equals, and then for this point we're going to name it signed. So all you need to make sure that you do is that it just equals what you've sort of put in that space. In order to test this, just to make sure that it works, what we're going to do is we're going to come into the contract sent for the guy I met on the train once, and we're going to change this to the signed. So if we actually run this integration, you're going to be able to see that it should find the database records with what's going on, and then the actual full record of what's happening. So you can see the guy that I met on the train once and everything that is going on with them. So there's a few bundles here of people that we've ran through. And we've actually got 3 bundles because this is the first time we've ran it. So we've got bundle of the guy I met in the train, we've got Zlatan, and we've got Yoda. And this is our 3 clients that we've got. These are the best clients that I've ever had, by the way, just saying. Now that we have the automation running, it's looking for the right thing and it's finding the right thing. We then want to start taking this to the next level and informing the team of what's going on, and also welcoming this person into our business. Because again, we want to do less manual and we want to automate what we're trying to do. The next thing I'm going to include is Slack. So from here, we're going to actually create a message. Now, you, again, just like before, you would connect your Slack itself to this space if you were wanting to do that. And inside the channel ID, I'm just going to select from my list. I've got some public channels. So in that public channel, I'm going to select it for the client onboard. And inside of this client onboard, I'm going to say we have a new client. And then we're going to put their name of the client. So we're going to find the database record of the name, the guy I met in the train. Please make sure they have access to the onboarding videos. And at this point, you can take it to a whole other level. You know, in this space, you could 100% add all of your onboarding stuff inside of Slack. So you would create a new Slack page for them. You would then be able to communicate with them directly on there, and that gives you the ability to then add your Softr database. If you were wanting to do that, you add something inside of your Slack where you're actually creating a channel, and inside of that channel, it's going to host all of that information. And if you'd want to see me build out a full one of that sort of stuff, then let me know, as I'd be more than happy to build out a step-by-step of how you would do that. But for now, we're going to keep it simple, just so you can see the Softr databases in action and all the manual work that you will get rid of through doing this. Now, depending on what you're wanting to do, if your client was a particular type of client, if someone was maybe on a higher tier or someone was at a different price point, this is where you could do something like a router, where you would use a flow control and basically separate the path into 2 different locations. That could be if they needed a different email that was sent to them. That could be if they needed a different page that was created for them. But for now, we're not actually going to do that, as we don't need to, because we're only going to be doing this for one specific client. In here, we're going to use our Gmail and we're going to send an email. So I've already connected my Gmail itself, but for the subject, it's going to be something like new client welcome. As the recipient, we're going to use the email that we've got directly from the finding the database ID itself. The content for the email, we're going to put hi, and then we're going to have the name of the person. We're going to select that from the Softr database. And from here, we're going to just say, welcome to the program. You can find all your onboarding videos here. And what you could also do from this point, this is where it can get incredibly powerful, is you just link your Calendly, you link the onboarding videos, and you can also start to think about how we could create client portals in Softr so that when we've actually created these things, they can access all of the onboarding videos directly inside their client portal. So we're going to send that email to them, and we're going to save that to make sure it's all good. And finally, for this sort of area anyway, we're going to create a database item. And inside of that database item, we're going to search for the databases. We're going to use my clients one that I've already connected. This is the one I use for my training facility. So I'm just going to select my clients area. And in this space, we're going to fill out the information. So again, from the finding the database record, we're going to select the name. The roadmap is going to be on step 1. We are going to have the traffic light system as green. They are a current client. We are going to then include the email that we've got from that particular person, and then we're all good to go. What this is then going to allow us to do is inside of the client portal itself. So I created this in a previous video. You can see this previous video if you want to understand how to create client portals themselves. And I'll do a full deep dive of actually doing it as a whole. But inside of here, we can connect specific users, and those users can then have access to their own client portals, meaning that they could have their onboarding videos in here. They could have anything in here. We've done this example for a videographer, but you can then connect that directly to the ones that we're doing in Softr. So we have this sort of rundown of our full databases of what's going on. What we now want to do is we want to test this to see if it would work. We're going to create an example, and we're going to add this as me, just as that example that we're going for. What we're going to do from here is we're then going to select this as the signed person. And from this point, we're going to run the automation. So if we come back to Softr itself, we're going to run the automation. The Slack channel will be sent, the email will be sent to that email, and the Notion database will be created. So if we come into the client onboarding, you'll see all of them have came through. So we have a new client, the guy I met on the train. Please make sure they access the onboarding videos. We've got Zlatan, we've got Yoda, and we've got the Andy tester ones. Once we come back here, again, we've got the new ones that have come on board. So we've got the Andy tester, we've got the Yoda, Zlatan, and the guy I met on the train. Where is he? There he is, right there. Also, I come to my emails, and I won't show you all my emails, but I should see an email directly from me where it basically says, welcome to the program. You can find all your onboarding videos here. So this is a great way to actually see everything that's going on and to have a full view of what's happening. What this is going to allow us to do is when we come into this database and we are syncing with the clients, we're now going to be able to see the new users that are being synced to this database, because this is actually linked directly to the clients that we brought in from Notion itself. And that means each of these people can then get their own email and password that can be sent directly to them. The only reason the other one wasn't there is because I've already used this as a user, and therefore it's not going to send another one. But this does give us the ability to use our client portals themselves and actually have all of their information in that one place to be able to be shown. So from here, we've been able to take it from a database record that's been updated inside of Softr, all the way from taking that information to the clients in our Slack, sending an email to that client, and also adding the page to Notion, but also being synced to their Softr client portal, meaning you can start to share all that information with them without having to worry about everyone's information being shared. This is genuinely one of the most powerful things that Softr has been able to do, and the database structure now being connected with Zapier and Make has just made it 10 times better. Using all of these automation platforms, you're going to save so much time, especially as people come through the door. To show you a few of the other features that you could implement with this, if you were wanting to create more on this space, you can actually create conditional forms inside of Softr. So if I show you this, you could create some of these forms that could have conditional logic as well, where you could end certain ones after certain steps and add specific questions that you're wanting to have. That means that your forms could go directly into your Softr databases, and then all of those triggers could start to happen as they're going through. So if people are buying maybe a lower ticket stuff and you're wanting to send them client portals right away, then again, from this logic, you could either put them in one or two fields, triggering the automation to happen, because inside of Make, you can get this to run at specific intervals. So if you wanted this to run every hour or every day, then you could have it do that for anyone who's filled in this inquiry form, meaning that conditional logic can be taken even further, your CRM can be built out better, and you can also start to use the automations to ping with one another without you actually lifting a finger. You can see there really is so much that Softr can do and so much that they're working on, and that's what I'm really excited about companies like this, is because they want to actually find the gaps in the market that they can fill and make them better than any other company. I actually recommend them to clients to use. If you're wanting to try out Softr yourself and build stuff like this, click the link in the description and use the code Ellis at checkout. You get a full month professional plan for free, so you can test it out, try it with a client, see how you get on. Anything you want to see me build on this, then give me a shout in the comments and let me know. I know the video on the screen right now will be something you'll love to watch, and I'll see you there.